Welcome back to Melodic Memories of Light's Monarch. I'm Casey, and I have to start today's episode by saying, rest in peace to the Prince of Darkness. As we all know, Ozzy, unfortunately, we lost him just this past week, and I couldn't start the episode out any other way. The only other thing I do need to say right off the bat as well is I am currently sick. You can probably hear it in my voice, so please bear with me if you notice any really bad cuts. It's just because I probably died coughing. Not gonna lie, it has been a rough week. I actually caught the sickness, I think the exact same day as the passing of Ozzy. And let me tell you, that on top of him just being gone was not an easy day. And I actually tweeted about it the next day because, again, I was not good day of, just in many ways. But what I ended up saying was something that I wanted to read out here. And I said on Twitter, of all things, the world lost a legend yesterday, and today we're all in mourning. Ozzy, thank you for all you've brought to music, not only just in the realm of metal and rock, but music as a whole. The world has forever been changed, and your impact shall always be felt. Rest in peace, Prince of Darkness. Now, I have to say, just right off the bat, Ozzy Osbourne, I know I mentioned it when back to the beginning for Black Sabbath went on, the actual thing that happened, I want to say a week before he actually passed, which is incredibly even more just like ouch, because we just got his send-off. And yeah, I know that he was ready. You've seen it in his eyes that he was ready to leave and to go and to move on, but at the same time you have to know he wasn't. He was just accepting it. Ready in the terms of just acceptance, because what else can you do when your body gives up on you? You got nowhere else to go. And that's why when he sang Mama, I'm Coming Home, with those tears in his eyes and the tears of the crowd and all the fellow fans, like, none of us realized that we were that close to him being gone. And I know that he lived more lives than anyone has ever lived in their whole entire life, or even more so, more lives than anyone can really imagine. But I know that it wasn't wasted. He got that final moment, and God bless that he was able to do that. And honestly, may he rest in peace, because he's a legend in so many ways, more than one. More than just in metal music, again, in the realm of music, in the realm of everything. Because there was also a performance that I was watching during the Warped tour that just happened in Long Beach. It was this past weekend, which I will get into more because Black Veil performed there, and my God. But before I get in all that, a band, I believe, was the All American Rejects. They covered a bit of Mama, I'm Coming Home, but called out the fact that, Ozzy wasn't just Ozzy Osbourne. He had a son, or has a son, you know what I mean? Like, he has family. And he's a dad. He's a husband. Like, there's more to him than just the music that he created. And yes, the music is iconic, but I think we do have to all remember, like, he isn't just that legacy figure. To some, he was a real person. And to all of us, he was, of course, a real person. But he held so much more than that to all of us that fell in love with his music, that I think that some people might mistakenly forget the humanity that he held, the fact that he was a real person. And all in all, me specifically, I grew up with Ozzy knowing he was a legend. He was one of the first people that I think I have ever heard in rock and roll and metal music was Ozzy, because of my dad. And that connection I hold with my dad is a lot in due in part, especially to music as a whole, because of Ozzy and the bands and music that he showed me. And these bands and artists are unfortunately reaching their time, and that is, again, another topic to go down for another time when it's not so depressing to get down. But that's the point of life. There's always going to be an end, and what matters the most is what you fill it with. And if you are okay by the end of it to say, hey, I think I did good for myself, for my life, for my family, for my friends, for myself, what more can you really ask? And I know not everyone can be as fulfilled as maybe Ozzy Osbourne can. And obviously, Ozzy, even being who he was and all he did, he was still left wishing that he could have done more and that his body wasn't giving up on him. And I think that's the case for everybody in this life, that everyone wishes they could do more and constantly striving to do the most that they can always do with their time, to be productive, to be bigger than anyone ever expects them to be. And I know that that's not the case for everybody, but usually people strive for things. And I think if you learned anything from Ozzy at all, is to never give up and always keep pushing. And just as any other inspirational figure that has unfortunately passed, to just live life to the fullest, because they, once again, are people too. That very well could be you. Anyone listening to this, hell, it could be me, it could be you, it could be your neighbor. But someone out there, they're going to be an inspiration for others. And just knowing that, treat people the way you wish to be treated and how exactly you want to be perceived as well. And I know this is all kind of rambly. I am all over the place with my thoughts. Even though it has been a week, I still have yet to even contain my feelings and thoughts towards him being gone, because he is such a legend. And I don't think anyone will ever come close to doing everything he did for music, but it doesn't mean that there won't be a next quote-unquote Ozzy. And I think we've already gotten that to some extent, and by saying that, I mean the person that he gave his cross to. Now, if you were following the Back to the Beginning for Black Sabbath, obviously there was the big standout feature being Youngblood. He kind of stole the show in terms of not Black Sabbath. He did the Changes cover, which, if you get the chance, I missed talking about it last week and I regretted it since. If you get the chance, please go stream Changes by Youngblood on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you get your streaming, to be honest. Add it to playlists, do whatever you will, get it streaming, because all of the proceeds get donated directly to the fund of Parkinson's in hopes of understanding it, curing it, fixing it. It's for a good cause, and Youngblood adores Ozzy Osbourne, as if you know Youngblood, you'll know that right out the gate. But he was actually given Ozzy's cross that he was wearing around his neck, and when asked, or when told that Ozzy wishes he could do more, Youngblood straight up told him the music was enough. The music was enough, man. Like that, a legend, or at least an aspiring legend, talking to a living legend. And I know he, unfortunately, is no longer living, and that was just a week prior to when this happened, and we've been a week removed from losing Ozzy. Doesn't mean it hurts any less. And anyone out there still dealing with the struggles of losing somebody, even if he was just your idol, someone that got you into this music, that got you into metal, pop, rock, anything under the sun. If they got you into music, don't worry. It's okay to grieve, but also know that Ozzy, being who he was, would have wanted you to take this pain and turn it into something amazing. So please go do that for not only yourself, but for Ozzy, because God bless Ozzy. Just as Youngblood says at the end of Changes, God bless Black Sabbath, and God bless Ozzy Osbourne. Love that man. I know I didn't know him personally. I wish I could have, because just to imagine the stories that man would have for what he could even remember. Imagine the ones he couldn't remember. Countless. Like I said, this man had lived lots of life, and it's sad that we're still feeling the shockwave this long after. I know it's only been a week, and grieving takes a long time. But it's wild just to really feel how much influence and power, and not even in a power-hungry way, but just straight up power that Ozzy had in all of our hearts. It's insane. Because I think, honestly, if you like music, you would have known of Ozzy Osbourne one way or another, be it from Black Sabbath, be it from the Osbournes TV show, be it from his solo stuff, Your dad might have played it. You might have heard it in a movie. Regardless, like, Ozzy was synonymous with music, and he's a legend. And I could honestly keep rambling. I'm not going to, because again, my voice is definitely a little harsh today, and I don't know if there's much else I can say other than what I did, because I'm still dealing with that loss, and I know my dad is as well, and he's somebody that I think the world will take a long while to get over, and not necessarily over, but just come to terms with, because it's a big loss. It's very akin to when we lost Bowie or countless other legends in the music scene. Like, it's never easy, and all we can do really is just remember him and live to his legacy, which is what a lot of artists are currently doing. There has been a lot of artists covering Ozzy just in their concerts, online, wherever they can. A lot of statements that have been said. One that stands out very specifically, aside from the Youngblood stuff, is actually Lady Gaga, because she went on tour, is currently on her tour. She ended up closing the show the night that Ozzy passed with Crazy Train. And to just think that one of the biggest ladies in pop, the queen of pop, if you will, for those that think of her as such, don't come at me, please, loved and was influenced by Ozzy. And I know that Lady Gaga in particular, yes, she has her rock roots. Like, yes, she's played with Metallica. Yes, she isn't just pop music, I understand. But so many artists, like, you literally just had to go online following the days that we lost him, and there was countless of artists just singing his praise, saying that the world will never be the same, saying that they love him and everything he did for music. It was a big deal, and still is. And in my own way to remember him, I was able to listen to Ozzy for a full day, as I know a lot of people did. Ozzy and Black Sabbath, to both of them, obviously. And I actually even ended up getting a video game called Brutal Legend. For those that don't know, it is a music action RPG, for what I know. I don't know much about it at all, aside from the simple fact that Ozzy's in it. And I believe the main character is Jack Black. I know he's kind of controversial nowadays. For those that love him, cool. Those that don't, also, it is what it is. People are a little bit jaded towards Jack Black, but for what I know, this game has Ozzy in it, and I seen it at our local toy store, which is currently getting closed down. Or I say toy. It's called Toys. It is a video game store, not a toy store. My bad. But it's closing. So I wanted to go support. They had Brutal Legend, and I was talking to the guy that owns the store, and he actually told me that at the time that game came out, you couldn't really get rid of it. Like, it was a game that nobody wanted. Nobody could really put it into a certain niche to tell you what it was. So it was really hard to describe, thus didn't really sell well. And now that Ozzy has passed, I think it's starting to get a brand new life, because Ozzy is I don't know if he's Satan or the devil or like a god character in the game. He's something of the sorts anyways. And if I do get around to playing it, or rather when I do, I will talk about it a little bit more, because it is music related. And again, Ozzy being the legend he is, just another thing to experience with him in it. And shout out to my boss. He's actually going to get me the entire Back to the Beginning concert, because he has it on his computer. I just need to get him a memory stick and I'll be able to watch it, because I never got the chance to actually sit down and watch the full thing. And I personally would love to, because again, Ozzy is a legend. Enough said. Now, amongst getting Brutal Legend, I wanted to mention this a little bit, just really quick, because Logan, love the guy. He's one of my best friends. And he came with me to go see Toys and Burger King right before I had to rush on over to work. And the reason why I mention this is because it was a really quick trip, but it was really fun, as him and I walked to Toys, is within walking distance at least. And he ended up getting me the B-movie video game on DS. Like, what? And not only that, though, there was also a dual pack DVD, so 2 DVDs in one case, if you will, of Over the Hedge and B-movie. And for those that don't know, and let you in on a little secret here, B Movie is a running joke. It is a movie that I personally love because I love Jerry Seinfeld. I grew up watching Seinfeld again with none other than my dad. He's someone that showed me many things in my life and many things that have stuck. And because he showed me Jerry Seinfeld in Seinfeld, when I eventually got to watch the B Movie as a kid, I fell in love with it. And I still love it to this day. It is one of my comfort movies / like guilty pleasures. I just adore it. And it was before the memes, and the memes honestly just made it even better. So very much love that movie, and Logan has taken it upon himself over pretty much the past time that I've known him and he found out about this. He gifts me the different B movies. As currently I have a Blu-ray copy, a DVD, which is full screen and widescreen, and a very Jerry edition DVD. Now I have another one, which is a dual pack DVD with Over the Hedge and the B Movie game. What a collection. What a collection. I'm going to have to start a shrine here pretty soon. But I just wanted to share that because honestly, it makes me laugh whenever I think about it, and just wanted to shout him out because I love him. And honestly, it was a great quick trip before I had to get my ass to work. And being that I had to work on Saturday, not much happened aside from me playing more of Bleeders and Hallelujah for all to hear. And I had a couple other albums on shuffle, my like song playlist, listened to a few albums rather. And I also made sure to play Changes a few times along with some Ozzy because again, people are still feeling it. But to speak upon Hallelujah, Black Veil Brides, they actually debuted it. They gave it its live debut at none other than Long Beach, California at Warped Tour. Warped Tour is back. And I know that we've already known this for a while now. And we obviously had the first show, which I believe Long Beach was the first show. If I am mistaken, apologies. I don't mean to be stupid. I know that Asking Alexandria, they also played the next day, which I was looking forward to just because I know that I like their music, but I also was curious to know how bad they sound this time around, which is so awful to say. I hate wanting to see how bad a band sounds because it's going into it with a negative tone, and I personally don't like that with music. I want to see how an artist can sound good, what an artist can bring to the table. But I know that Asking Alexandria in particular, they just kind of went downhill. Since Ben Bruce left, and knowing that the singer, his name is escaping me at the moment, but he just doesn't really care about how he sounds, how he comes off. Like he just is kind of over it. He's honestly more or less like a hired musician at this point, but that's a tangent for a different time. They didn't do very good the next day, but I wanted to focus on Black Veil, which, if I backtrack just a little bit, the All-American Rejects, they fucking killed it. My God. They absolutely destroyed it. And then the artist that played right before Black Veil, which it's escaping me, to be honest, but the show was really good. It was getting better, getting good. And then Black Veil. Oh, y'all ain't ready. Now, Black Veil Brides, their set was probably the heaviest I have ever heard them sound, and also the best, which is crazy. I've seen them live a few times, and nothing against Andy. I love this band, and I love him and all the art that he creates. I personally really enjoy his voice, and I have to say this was probably the best he's ever sounded, as I think every time that he usually does perform, his voice struggles a little bit here and there. Not saying all the time, God no. If I thought that, how would I ever be a fan of them? But I do know that there are moments, and there have been moments in live stream cases like this, where he's either been sick or, I mean, usually it's a cold that he catches, because as he said himself, he's very prone to getting sick. But wow, like I was jaw to the fucking floor when I was hearing this, because every song sounded the crispest it has ever sounded. It sounded like every single song was straight off of their albums, right off the record. no cutting corners, no phoning it in. They gave their all for this performance. And more than just Hallelujah, more than just the new song, every song they played. And it was a very short set. They didn't get to play much, but they opened with Knives and Pens, went on to Perfect Weapon and Bleeders and Devil and Hallelujah and I believe The Legacy. They were going to close the show out with In the End, and sorry if I got any in the wrong order. I'm not saying that that was the order they played them in, but those were the songs they played. And I might be missing one, but they didn't get to play their final song In the End because their set was cut short. But every song before that, Faithless as well, that was one, my bad. They added screams, like way more screams, and Andy, he must have been showing off because I seen that little smirk every so often. He knew what he was doing. This man, I don't know if he got vocal lessons or if he just trained his voice even more or if he's just that much more inspired to try that much more harder because he knows how much his fans love it and he feels that fire within him of having something to say. That's all I can attribute it to because honestly, I was floored. I was wowed. Like, not only did Hallelujah, the main song that I was there to hear, because I've heard all their other songs countless times, Hallelujah ripped. Like, they didn't miss a single note, not a single beat. Granted, I wasn't there, obviously, but through the live stream that I was watching, there was no compromise. They played it like it was right playing on my Spotify. There was no difference. And aside from it just being that much more fucking amazing because it was in front of me. Like, yeah, it was a TV screen. And I wasn't there in person, which I wish I was. But holy hell, let me just sing its praise for a little bit more because I was, again, floored, wild, like everything about it. And to Paul, my buddy that said Andy can't do that live, I told you he fucking could. I knew that was him. I knew he could do it. Whether or not his scream has changed, I knew that was him and I knew he could do it. And he proved it. Not only for that song, like I mentioned, but that whole entire set, adding screams where there weren't any, changing the screams to make them longer. Like, just the power that Andy has with his voice and the absolute skill that the rest of the band members brought. Probably the best set I've ever seen them play in their history, which is insane because this is a band that we have to remember has been around for almost 15 years now. So that's nuts. I guess 16 because Knives and Pens was 16 years ago. So yeah, insane. They just keep getting better, like a fine wine. They keep getting better. And honestly, if anyone hasn't heard that set or seen that set, go check out their socials, go look at Warped Tour, their YouTube. I'm sure there's gotta be someone somewhere that uploaded the concert, be it them actually being there or the live stream itself. Go listen to it, go watch it. You won't be disappointed because holy hell. Hallelujah. Now, let me step off of my Black Veil Bride's high horse, if you will, to say the next day I was able to see Fantastic Four. Now, I got to see Superman the weekend it came out, and I did the exact same for Fantastic Four. Now, Superman, I don't mean to compare the two, but Superman is my favorite superhero, and Fantastic Four, I have a very, very large soft spot for. Now, before anyone gets too concerned, I am not giving spoilers here. Don't worry, this is completely spoiler-free for both Superman and Fantastic Four. I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts in a non-spoiler way. And in doing so, I just want to say, as a standalone movie, for anyone going to watch either two if you haven't seen them yet already, Superman, I would have to admit, even with being a bigger Snyder enjoyer than I am of James Gunn, at least in terms of Superman, I do have to admit they captured the character of Superman the best that they ever have in any other of the films. This movie did it best. I will have to admit that as a fan, personally. Granted, this is just my opinion, but As a standalone film, I do believe Superman is the stronger film. As a movie that you know there's going to be more to come as like a little stepping stone, Fantastic Four fits that perfectly. Yes, it is still enjoyable on its own if you don't know any of the MCU prior, but if you don't know the Fantastic Four as themselves, you might be a little bit confused. Granted, they do a good job in making it understandable for those that don't know these characters yet, as I know that there are going to be people out there that have no idea who the Fantastic Four is. As when I said I was going to see it this weekend, people were like, what? Is that a Marvel movie? I was so shocked. I was like, what? I thought this was the first family. Like, I thought that Fantastic Four was the characters, but I guess because the MCU has taken so long to introduce them specifically, not as many people knew about them as they do Iron Man or the Avengers or even Guardians of the Galaxy, which in my mind is nuts because it used to be completely the opposite. But that's me just dating myself at this point. Now, rambles aside, Fantastic Four, very good film. I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I don't really have much bad to say about it, apart from just I wish there was more. I was sitting there, it felt amazing to see, again, no spoilers, just talking about what is obviously in the trailers and what everyone knows about, Galactus. Whew! Hello? Now, little bit of a backstory for me. Fantastic Four. That was the first, or at least one of the first superhero movies I ever remember, and specific keyword here is remember, because I know I was in theaters to see X-Men and Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, but I was so young that I don't actually remember them. But with Fantastic Four, I do remember going to see that one in Edmonton. As I remember before that, we actually went to the circus. It was me and my dad, and I recall running away from him. Not for any other reason other than I thought we were playing a game, and I remember running around and losing him, and somehow I made my way back to him, but like I was little. You got to remember this was like 2004, I want to say. I think that's when the first Fantastic Four movie came out. So I was around 4 to 5 years old, so definitely not the age to run away at a circus. God, I couldn't even imagine how upset my dad was. I remember him being really mad and saying that we're not going to go see Fantastic Four. But then we did. We did go see Fantastic Four. And it was one of the first movies I remember watching in theaters, let alone superhero movies. And this current Fantastic Four movie, Fantastic Four First Steps, this is the first Fantastic Four movie I've seen in theaters since. I wish it could have been with my dad, for certain. But that's got to be a part of the reason why I love Fantastic Four so much. Because I'll be honest, I'm not super in touch with their comic books. I've read a few here and there over the years and been told about some stories from my dad, but I've never personally read much of it. And I know them more so from, be it Marvel's Ultimate Alliance, or pretty much from whatever my dad would kind of feed me in terms of Marvel content, because he was much more the DC realm. But Galactus in particular was the character that he obviously felt some very cool connection to and passed that along to me, or at least maybe I'm the one that got the connection, I don't know. But I thought Galactus was one of the coolest characters probably ever. And it all started with that relationship I built with my dad, and even more so to these action figures that my dad and I would buy. I mean, he would buy me, but we would set them up and have my action figure collection. And these certain specific ones around like 2005, they had pieces of Galactus to stick together. I think there was one for the left arm, one for the right arm, left leg, right leg, torso, and then head. And if you buy all of them and stick it all together, you get a massive Galactus figure. Massive for the time. I think he was maybe like, I want to say 10 inches, maybe a bit bigger. But regardless, I still have it. I have it literally. I'm looking at it. Like it's I took it out of this bag that I kept all my action figures in because, yes, I'm a loser. And I kept every action figure I own. Not saying that people that have action figures are losers, but I kept them with the particular thought of one day giving them to my kids and having that connection the same way my dad had with me. That is what makes me a loser. Thank you. But to say the least, that Galactus action figure, I remember searching for the action figures to put him together, and when we got them all put together, like, that was one of the biggest moments for me as a kid at that age. Again, I was probably like 5. And the absolute fond memories that I hold with this and with my dad, I can't, like, it just gets me choked up. And I'm already sick, so I'm not going to go down that road for for worry of you guys not being able to understand me. But Galactus is one of my favorite Marvel characters in the history of Marvel, and I don't even know much about him other than what my dad has told me and what the media has told me over the years of what I've either watched or read. But granted, I know the gist, I know who he is, and the fact that they showed him in this new Fantastic Four movie, and when I say they showed him to the T, like, thinking about it gives me goosebumps because you feel the scale. Just as the Fantastic Four trembles beneath him in size, I felt that in the theater, and I wasn't even watching it in IMAX. And that's all I'll say about it. Again, I don't want to go any further. I don't want to give away any stories, spoilers, details. But my God, if you guys like the Fantastic Four and like Galactus, you won't be disappointed, because holy shit, very good movie. I'm very excited to see what might come next. And even more so, San Diego Comic-Con just happened, and they gave away, this might be a little bit of a spoiler towards the future of the MCU, but they mentioned how they want to recast the X-Men come the end of Secret Wars. And that in itself made some people speculate. And this hasn't been confirmed. Has not been confirmed, but with what happens in Fantastic Four and certain characters being around and things happening, I can kind of piece it together in my mind of what I think might happen. And I'm not going to share that here because, again, I would have to talk about spoilers, and I'm currently not going to do that. Maybe later on the road, if people want to hear my thoughts, I'll definitely share them. But the short of it is to say, I believe that the MCU is building towards a reboot, a flashpoint, if you will, as the DC universe has, where, you know, everything gets reset. And I think that's going to happen. I think we are nearing that. We are leading up to this. Because what do you usually do? Like, as a storyteller, what do you do when you introduce a multiverse? There's nowhere to go after that. There's no way to get bigger. And that's kind of what you have to do in storytelling. And to say that, a little bit unfortunate, but again, you know, the time's going to come. And they already confirmed at, I believe, the San Diego Comic-Con that they are going to eventually recast Iron Man. They are eventually going to recast Captain America. Like, there are going to be other versions of these characters that we have seen on screen, just as we have in the past. So nothing new in that sense. It's just we've never had a cinematic universe literally be reset like this. One that's been so successful, mind you. Not the DCEU, because I know that's been reset a couple times now, I think, but once in particular. But regardless, I'm excited. I have theories, and if anyone cares to hear them, reach out, let me know, at Lights Monarch on all socials. And now that we're to today, Monday, for those that follow Paramore, their All We Know Is Falling, their debut album, just turned 20. 20 years old. That is nuts. This is one of my favorite Paramore albums because it literally just bleeds emotion. Like, emo through and through. That album bleeds emotion, bleeds angst. Like, oh, it just makes you feel because these songs are so raw. Like, you can't help but feel the emotions that these literal children are feeling from losing their bandmate. Like, if that was to happen to you at the age of 12, 13 years old, as they were, some maybe even younger than that, to be honest, God knows, yeah, that's the end of the world to you. And that's what they wrote. That's how they wrote this album. It was the end of the world. It was the biggest, most betrayed, like, knife in the back. Like, you feel that through the entire album, and not only the entire album, but also the extra tracks that they dropped for the deluxe version, which is now on streaming. If you haven't heard them, go listen to them now because you're missing out. Originally, the tracks, yes, they came out years ago, so they're not necessarily new, but they're new to those that haven't heard them yet, and that is the majority of us, as I personally had not heard them yet. And they were originally on an EP released way back in the day, but again, now they're available for our streaming privileges. And on top of that, Hayley Williams has dropped not only a new single, but the entire new album she made. She's independent now and has a website, HayleyWilliams.net. There is a code. It asks for a password. If you enter the password, which you can find online so easy, if you don't have it, hit me up on Lights Monarch. I'll literally give it to you. They posted the whole album on her website. The entire thing. And I have to say, I was not expecting my Monday to have a new Hayley Williams album. Excuse me, princess. Like, oh, I love this woman so much. And she is one of my pure enthusiasm for anything she drops. I love her music. She's an amazing woman, powerful woman. And it's just even more so defined by this album. So this album, called Ego, serves as Hayley's first fully independent release since her record deal with Warner/Atlantic ended. And the release is not linked to any record label yet, so it's not available on any streaming platforms, though it is at least acknowledged by a playlist on Spotify and, of course, by Hayley Williams herself. If you want to listen to it, do not wait for it to go on streaming. Go get it from her website. The track list itself goes literally 17 tracks, okay? 17 tracks. It goes Kill Me, True Believer, Blood Bros, Negative Self-Talk, Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, Mirazapine, Ice in My OJ, Brotherly Hate, Zissou, Dream Girl in Shibuya, Discovery Channel, Love Me Different, Hard, Whim, Glum, Disappearing Man, and I Won't Quit on You. 17 songs. And not a single one of them was a miss. They were all bangers. And I know I'm talking from bias here, but Hayley Williams doesn't miss. She never misses, okay? Hayley Williams never misses. She didn't this time, and I honestly don't even know what to say. I took screenshots while I was listening to it because I was working while I was listening to it just to say which ones really stuck out to me. And that was True Believer, Negative Self-Talk, Ice in My OJ, Brotherly Hate, Zissou, Discovery Channel, because apparently that's a cover, like, excuse me. Love Me Different, Hard, Whim, Glum, Disappearing Man, and obviously I Won't Quit on You. I kind of started just screenshotting all of them because every song was just sending me. Like, yes, it sounds like Hayley Williams. Yes, it sounds somewhat like her old stuff mixed with Paramore's new stuff. Solo, old stuff, mind you. And it was also with a new twist. And, not even to mention, this album is a love album. Whereas her last two were definitely more sad, this one, she goes into her falling in love. Literally. And obviously, us fans know it's Taylor. Taylor York, her guitarist there. You know, they love each other. And for her to finally be completely open, even more so than she was on This Is Why, and the hidden stuff that she talked about on her second solo record there, Flowers for Vases. It's just wild to hear the distinction, the difference of how much she's healed and where she's at now and how she's ready to love again and is currently loving. It was beautiful. It really just left my heart full. I teared up in a couple songs, and I need to listen to it again before I really give it any sort of like really rating in terms of what my favorites were, but one of the lyrics that really stood out was "I reanimate your bones because I'm a true believer." Like that one got me really good. And I think one of the songs that hit me really hard was Glum. It might have been Glum or Whim. They're both very similar in terms of name, but just amazing. Straight up amazing. Very good album. I have nothing but positivity towards it. And it was awesome that Ego was shadow dropped the way it was. Thank you, Hayley Williams. Thank you for making my Monday. Just another legend releasing music, and she's also the person that got me to listen to Folklore for the first time, and Folklore is a Taylor Swift album, and it just turned 5. It turned 5 last week. I had to mention it because Folklore is one of my favorite Taylor Swift albums, and those that know me know I am a Swiftie, amongst many other things, but also I do love Taylor, so happy 5-year belated birthday, Folklore. Also, Bugs Bunny, a random thing to say, I know, but I grew up loving the Looney Tunes. He turned 85, which is fucking wild. And both of the World Ends With You games, I currently haven't played them, but I do love the characters and the art for it. They actually turned 18 and 4, respectively. Also, speaking upon Taylor, we're rumored to get a new Taylor Swift song and video by the month's end, so keep an eye out for that. It's supposed to be very 70s inspired, and that makes me very curious. I think it's going to be also a love album in terms of her and Travis Kelce really hitting it off and staying together as long as they have. Very excited to hear what she might be cooking up, especially since we just got Hayley Williams. Hayley appearing on another Taylor album? That would be cool. And it not be a depressing as fuck song this time? That would be cool. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But all in all, before we get into all the upcoming releases and new releases that I wanted to touch on, I just needed to say Undertale, it hits its 10-year celebration very soon, September 15th to be exact. And they actually put on their website a little space for you to write your Undertale memories, the memories you share with the game, what it means to you in a certain amount of words. And I shared what I personally felt from the game. And I wanted to read it here because it is a shout out to Logan. So Logan, if you're listening to this, this will be where you see it first. And if I ever see it posted on that website, I will definitely send it to you as well, because I ended up writing this. Undertale left me with the feeling I've never quite felt before. All of these characters, they became my friends, and I cared for them. All thanks to my buddy Logan. Love you, bro. I know it's not much. I couldn't write any more than that. There's a lot more that I could say, and to just kind of say, Logan, thank you. Thank you for showing me that game. Thank you for giving them voices, as they are obviously voiceless, but you brought them to life in my mind. And I hold that game very close to my heart because of you. And you and Undertale alongside Deltarune, they go hand in hand for me. And I just wanted to say thank you for sharing with me such a world and bringing it to life in a way that I don't think anyone else could have, and giving me an experience of a lifetime with it. An experience purely unique that nobody else has ever had. Now, to get into some new releases that came out last week, there wasn't many other than what I already mentioned in the last episode, but some that have came out since has been Die For Me by Echo. Not one I really cared for much, but, you know, he's going for what he's going for, more sex music, but it be what it be. Rock and Roll Fantasy by Bad Company and The Struts, wild. Whatever Redo by Our Lady Peace, love that band. Candy by Camille Cleo, which is titled to be an EP. They are actually new songs from her upcoming EP, which should be releasing soon. Her upcoming album is probably the better thing to say. And then Kill Me Fast by 3 Days Grace, the newest single from their upcoming album, Alienation, comes out next month. And Miss Sunshine by MGK. I haven't heard that one quite yet, but I'm looking forward to getting to it because his other singles I honestly really liked. I didn't think I would or didn't really want to like them, but I can't help it. Wow, are they catchy? They're solid releases. And I know that there probably has been a couple others that have shown up here and there over the last week, but that is what was in my release radar on Spotify specifically. And some upcoming releases that I know of right off the top of my head, obviously, is Lonely God by Fit for a King, comes out this Friday. And Bad Omens, they wiped their socials completely and left a cryptic video saying goodbye friend on all their socials. Very curious to see what they're cooking up, because they're right around the corner for some new stuff. We know that and have known that for a while. And also, we might be getting some new MCR soon, as they premiered, or at least debuted, an old new song. New old song, I don't know how you want to word it, but a song that we haven't heard before at their last show. Fucking awesome. We're getting more MCR music. I hope it gets released as a proper song, even if it does become some anniversary edition of the Black Parade when this is all over. Maybe titled Long Live the Black Parade, who knows? Or maybe even another live album with those songs attached to it, as we have gotten with Live on the Murder Scene, as there was, I believe, 1 or 2 songs on that live album that we hadn't heard before, but they're on there. So if we get something like that, it'll be cool. Whatever they're cooking up, awesome. I love MCR. I'm actually going to be seeing them at the end of August in Chicago at Soldier Field, I believe is the venue. If it's not, regardless, I'm seeing them all the same. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. But there's honestly been so much more that has happened and that has been announced all in all. But that's all I've really got time to talk about today. And I'll end in saying thank you to South Park for coming back and doing what they did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just do a quick Google search, and with that, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So thank you, South Park, and thank you all for listening. And most importantly, thank you for discovering the music within.